So how did you find out the storm was coming?
It's actually a funny story. I was in Hong Kong on business, and I came back on a Friday night and woke up the next morning, on Saturday morning, and turned on the Weather Channel and noticed that the storm track had changed from Florida to Louisiana. It had shifted west. And at that point, we knew that we were in pretty big trouble. This was a Category 5 storm. This is as strong as I get. So really found out that Saturday morning that impact was going to happen on Monday. So essentially what I did, my wife and I moved into the Hyatt Regency where I worked, a very large convention hotel. And we stayed there throughout the storm, actually left the following Thursday, storm hit Monday.
Um, so you were in the hotel during the whole storm?
Yeah. Yeah, I was with my wife at the time, my brother-in-law, and my golden retriever.
What did you do after the storm? Where did you go?
After the storm hit Monday morning at about, I think it was about 7 a.m. And I was able to go home that afternoon. I lived about a mile away and see my house. My house was fine, didn't have any storm damage. But we ended up staying in the hotel because we had limited power. We had some generators. We stayed there until Thursday, and then from Thursday we left and actually moved over to Houston for about a week.
So was your home fine? It wasn't damaged at all?
Yeah, the interesting thing was the storm damage. There was a lot of wind damage from the storm on Monday when it was overhead. My house was fine. I was in the Garden District, which is a little higher elevation, and it didn't actually flood. But the flood didn't happen until Monday evening, Tuesday morning, when the levee started to break. That's when the city started to fill up with water. The floodwater came within about a block of my house, and I didn't actually see the water. I didn't make it home again after that until a couple weeks later. But I have some photographs I'll share with you of some boats that were tied up on my street that were left there after the water receded.
So you went to Houston after the storm
Right.
For how long were you there?
I was in Houston, staying with friends for about a week, and then Hyatt Hotels transferred me to Dallas, and I started a new position in Dallas. And then I think probably went back to New Orleans a few weeks later after the waters had receded.
Okay. So you had a golden retriever?
Yep.
And was he safe? Was your pet safe?
Yeah, her name is Molly, and Molly was amazing. We had approximately 3,000 people that stayed in the hotel during the storm, and we had a lot of children, a lot of families that were there. And to have Molly there was amazing. The kids played with her every day, and despite everything that was going on and all the chaos, she was there to provide a lot of happiness for those kids.
Were you scared at all during the storm?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We had no idea what was going to happen. Now, during the storm itself, it was really more of a wind event. We lost over 600 windows in the hotel, and we could hear those popping and cracking and blowing in. That itself wasn't so scary. What was scary was the day later when the city started to fill up with water. So we weren't sure how we were going to get out. We weren't sure if we'd have to go out by helicopter or we'd have to go out on a boat. As it turned out, the flooding wasn't as bad as it was predicted, and we were able to drive.
Okay.
Are you done with your questions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that's it for our questions.
Okay.
It's really good to be able to talk to you, Dan, about this. I think it's
Oh,
really
yeah.
helpful for our project to get a real personal perspective on it.
And when's it due?
January 11th.
Yeah, this is kind of
Okay.
a competitive thing, so they're going to have a big presentation in January.
Okay.
And what they're gonna focus on is evacuation and a lot of the emergency response. So sort of a engineering sort of perspective on it.
Sure.
There's obviously the storm has a lot of different facets to it, from how prepared everything was to how
Sure.
things reacted afterwards. So lots to cover.
I have some photographs that I'll share with you that might be of help. And I'll try to see somewhere I have my story. I had written, almost a daily log that I'd kept.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll share that with you too, because that there are elements of that pertain to the emergency response and what Hyatt hotels did in terms of getting us supplies. The hotel was also, and I'm sorry, there's some feedback here. The hotel was also the headquarter for the city of New Orleans, police department and fire department. Ray Nagin I'd see Ray on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
He was the mayor. And then towards the end of the week when I left, the National Guard came in and set up camp, and they were headquartered out of our hotel as well.
So I looked up pictures of the Hyatt after Katrina hit and saw all the pictures of the windows blown out. You said there were 3,000 people in the hotel. Were they all on the leeward side? Is that what you did?
What happened was Sunday night we evacuated everybody. If I remember right, the windows were rated for 70-mile-an-hour winds when it was built in 76, I think. And since then, the storms have gotten more powerful, and the ratings have gone up. I think a Category 1 storm is now 74 miles an hour,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
So these were substandard windows to begin with.
Okay.
So we evacuated those rooms Sunday night, moved everyone into our ballroom and our exhibit hall.
Oh, I see. Okay. So they were in emergency.
No one was
sleeping
allowed
in those rooms, right?
There were a couple idiots that stayed, but we made them sign waivers.
Okay. Were those idiots hurt?
They were rescued.
I see.
And it was, they put our lives in jeopardy. There was a lot of flying glass.
Yeah. Sure.
It wasn't a smart idea, but everyone was forewarned.
Okay. And after your relocation, you never did live in New Orleans after that, did you?
No, I've been back a number of times. The hotel itself didn't open until 2011. It took 6 years.
Yeah, I read an article about it. They spent $270 million on it. I think I read something like that.
Yeah, there were a number of reasons there. They had to do a lot of mold remediation.
Right.
It was a change in ownership. There were some lawsuits, insurance lawsuits filed, things like that.
Okay. Interesting. All right. It's good to talk to you, Dan.
Cool.
Good luck to you in D.C. there.
Thank you. And if you guys have any more questions or want to do another FaceTime, just let me know.
All right.
I'm happy to
Sounds
help.
great.
Okay.
Also, go Cyclones.
Yeah, good win last night.
Yeah, it was. All right. See you,
All
Dan.
right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.